Welcome to another exciting episode of Identity and Access Management Crashcasts. I'm your host, Sheila, and today we're diving into a fascinating topic, mastering SCIM, streamlining user provisioning across systems. Joining me, as always, is our IAM expert, Victor. Hi, Victor.
Hello, Sheila, and hello to all our listeners. I'm excited to unravel the mysteries of SCIM with you today.
Before we begin, listeners, to get the most out of this episode, you should have a basic understanding of identity and access management concepts and be familiar with REST APIs. Now let's kick things off with a quiz question. What common challenge do organizations face when managing user accounts across multiple cloud applications? And how many hours per week do IT teams typically spend on manual user provisioning?
That's an intriguing question, Sheila. It really highlights the complexities of modern identity management. I'm curious to see if our listeners can guess the time spent on manual provisioning. It might be more than many expect. This question also touches on the core problem that today's topic aims to solve.
Indeed, Victor. Let's start by explaining what SCIM is and why it was created. Can you give us a brief overview?
Certainly. SCIM stands for System for Cross-Domain Identity Management. It was created to address the growing need for a standardized way to manage user identities across multiple systems and domains. As organizations started adopting more cloud-based applications, they faced the challenge of keeping user accounts synchronized across these different platforms.
So it's like a universal translator for user identities across different systems?
That's an excellent analogy, Sheila. Just like a universal translator helps people speaking different languages understand each other, SCIM helps different systems speak the same language when it comes to user identities and attributes.
That makes sense. Can you tell us about the key components of SIM?
Of course. SCIM is built on three main components: schemas, endpoints, and operations. Schemas define the attributes of users and groups. Endpoints are the URLs where SCIM requests are sent. Operations are the actions you can perform, like creating, reading, updating, or deleting user information.
I see. So if I understand correctly, SCIM uses REST APIs and JSON to communicate between systems, right?
That's correct, Sheila. SCIM leverages REST APIs for communication and uses JSON as its data format. This makes it lightweight and easy to implement across different platforms.
Now I'm curious about how SCIM compares to other provisioning methods. Can you shed some light on that?
Certainly. Before SCIM, organizations often relied on proprietary protocols or custom integrations for user provisioning. These methods were often complex, time-consuming, and didn't scale well. SCIM provides a standardized approach that's more efficient and easier to implement across multiple systems.
I can see how that would be beneficial. Can you share a real-world example of SCIM in action?
Sure. Let's take the case of a large multinational company I worked with. Before implementing SCIM, their IT team spent around 30 hours per week manually provisioning and deprovisioning user accounts across various systems. After implementing SCIM, they reduced that time to just 5 hours per week, freeing up their IT resources for more strategic tasks.
Wow, that's a significant improvement. Are there any common pitfalls or best practices when implementing SCIM?
Great question. One common pitfall is not properly mapping attributes between systems. It's crucial to ensure that user attributes are correctly translated across different applications. As for best practices, I'd recommend starting with a thorough analysis of your current systems and identity management needs before implementing SCIM.
That's valuable advice, Victor. Now, for our listeners who want to remember the key SCIM endpoints, is there a memory trick we can use?
Absolutely. You can remember the main SCIM endpoints with the acronym USERS. U/users for user management, S/schemas for retrieving schemas, E/enterprise user for extended attributes, R/resource types for supported resource types, S/service provider config for service provider information.
That's really helpful, Victor. As we wrap up, let's reveal the answer to our quiz question. Organizations typically face challenges with inconsistent user data and slow onboarding processes across multiple cloud applications. On average, IT teams spend about 24 hours per week on manual user provisioning tasks.
That's quite a significant amount of time, isn't it? It really underscores the value of implementing a solution like SCIM.
Absolutely. To summarize today's episode, SCIM is a standardized protocol for managing user identities across multiple systems. It uses REST APIs and JSON for communication, consists of schemas, endpoints, and operations, and can significantly reduce the time and effort required for user provisioning.
Excellent summary, Sheila. SCIM is truly transforming how organizations manage identities in our increasingly cloud-based world.
Thank you, Victor, for sharing your expertise. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to another episode of Identity and Access Management Crashcasts. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a rating. Until next time, keep mastering those IAM concepts.